Hey guys, so I've been meaning to share this story for a while. It's one of those things where, even years later, I'm not really sure what the heck happened. And honestly, I still get chills just thinking about it. So, a little backstory first. This happened during my sophomore year of college. I had just moved into this old, kinda rundown apartment near campus with my roommate Alex. Now, Alex and I were friends, but not like best friends. You know, the kind of friendship where you're cool sharing a space, but you don't really hang out 24/7? Yeah, that was us. The apartment itself was weird. Like it wasn't falling apart or anything, but you could tell it had been around for a while. There were creaky floorboards, a draft that made the place feel cold no matter how high we cranked the heat, and this faint smell of mildew that never really went away. But hey, it was cheap, so we weren't complaining. At least not yet. The first couple of weeks were pretty uneventful. Classes started, Alex got a part-time job, and I spent most of my time either at the library or gaming in my room. Then, about a month in, weird stuff started happening. It started small. Stuff you wouldn't even notice if you weren't paying attention. Like, I'd put my phone charger on the coffee table, go to the kitchen, and when I came back, it'd be on the couch. Or Alex would swear he'd locked the front door before bed, but in the morning, it'd be slightly open. We both kind of laughed it off at first, joking that the apartment had a ghost or whatever. Typical roommate banter, right? But then it started getting creepy. One night, I woke up around 3 a.m. to this weird sound. It was like whispering, but super faint, almost like the walls themselves were murmuring. I thought it was Alex watching something on his phone, so I ignored it and tried to go back to sleep. But the next morning, Alex mentioned that he'd heard the same thing. We joked about it again, but I could tell it was starting to freak him out. And honestly, it was freaking me out too. A few days later, I was sitting in the living room scrolling through my phone when I heard someone say, "Hey." It was soft, like they were standing just behind me. I jumped up, expecting to see Alex, but the room was empty. I even checked his room, and he wasn't home. He didn't get back until an hour later, and when I told him what happened, he just stared at me like I'd grown a second head. Things escalated pretty quickly after that. One night, Alex and I were watching TV, when we heard this loud thud in my bedroom. It sounded like someone had knocked over my bookshelf. We both froze, staring at each other. Then, without saying a word, we grabbed a couple of knives from the kitchen because, yeah, we were those guys and went to check it out. When we opened the door, everything looked normal, at first. But then I noticed something. The closet door, which I always kept closed, was slightly ajar. Now let me tell you, I'm not one of those people who gets scared easily. But in that moment, I felt my stomach drop. I slowly walked over and pulled the door open. There was nothing inside, just my clothes and a couple of boxes. The weirdest part? The air inside the closet felt colder, like noticeably colder. Alex laughed it off, saying it was probably just a draft, but I could tell he was just as freaked out as I was. Final straw came about a week later. I had just gotten back from a late-night study session at the library. Alex wasn't home. He'd gone to visit his girlfriend for the weekend, so I had the apartment to myself. I was lying in bed, scrolling through my phone, when I heard it again, the whispering. But this time, it was louder, and it wasn't coming from the walls. It was coming from the closet. I froze. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it was going to burst out of my chest. Slowly, I turned my head toward the closet. The door was open, just a crack, but I could swear I saw movement, like something was shifting in the darkness. I wanted to get up, to run, but I couldn't move. It was like my body was paralyzed. The whispering got louder, and I could finally make out what it was saying. Let me out. In that moment, I did the only thing I could think of. I threw my phone at the closet and bolted out of the room. I didn't stop running until I was outside, standing in the freezing cold in nothing but my pajamas. I ended up crashing on a friend's couch that night, and I didn't go back to the apartment until Alex got home the next day. When we went back together, everything seemed normal. My closet door was closed, my phone was on the floor where I'd thrown it, and there was no sign of whatever the hell had happened. Here's the weirdest part, though. A few weeks after we moved out, I ran into the building's maintenance guy at a coffee shop. I mentioned the weird stuff that had happened, and he gave me this strange look. Then he said, "You were in 3B, right?" Yeah, the last few tenants didn't stay long either. Something about noises and doors opening on their own. So yeah, that's my story. I don't know if the apartment was haunted or if I was just losing my mind, but one thing's for sure, I'm never living in a place with a weird closet again.